Larry Hodes, and I'm an entrepreneur, so I've got restaurants and a coffee roastery, as well as I do business coaching, a little bit of life coaching and facilitation training. Owning the restaurants were a little bit of going with the flow, but the training facilitation and the coaching, that was very intentional. Because I really, if there's something where, I consider myself one of those fortunate individuals in that I honestly believe, with my training and coaching, that is what I'm set out to do. I love it. I get a lot of joy out of that. I really do. I get a lot of joy out of that. And yes, I enjoy restaurants and that. But my real kick is being with a group of individuals and, and trying to help them, trying to empower them. So now I also do training with, business coaching, specifically with Nedbank, where I work with their enterprise development businesses. Joy. Okay, first of all, being an entrepreneur, it's not easy. Really, it's not, because, come and say, I go and work at, when I was at my corporates, where I worked and everything, like I had a secretary. There would be somebody that would do that. There's somebody who does HR. There's somebody who does marketing. There's somebody who does operations. There's somebody who does finance. Whereas if you're an entrepreneur and you're starting out in a business, you normally that individual has to do everything. And one of the key things, and I must admit, I still struggle with it, is you try and do everything. You try and work and, because I'm a creative, like I've done tests and everything, and I'm a creative. So, I always come up with these big ideas, but, it's also about the execution. So something that I'm really working on personally is about putting the right people in place to go and help me achieve those goals. Oh, absolutely, and I wish my kids would always also understand that it does come from a good place. But you must remember, and I can't remember the research where it shows that I think it's 60 or 70% of people with what they studied, they're actually working in a different field. And the world is changing, education is changing. It's like you say, your parents, the parents put on a lot of pressure. Yeah, and they do. You've got to go and study. But often, many kids, because of the society that we grow up in, some of us believe that it's an education or nothing. If I don't, so the pressure is not only coming from the parents. We're saying to ourselves, if I don't go and study, then it's not going to happen. Yeah, of course, if you want to become a lawyer, you want to become an accountant, you want to become a doctor, there are certain studies that you have to, that you have to go and study. Otherwise, you can't become a lawyer, an accountant, a doctor, But if you're on the path to entrepreneurship, please, I'm not putting down studying. If you've got the opportunity, go. Because, if you're able to become a CA, that's going to help you big time down the line. But do not let that be the reason why you can't be successful or become a success. One of the key things is that, as children are born creatives. They got so many ideas, they're free. If they think of an idea, whether it's an entrepreneurial thing or something to go and do, they'll go and do it. But, as we grow up, that sense of risk-taking or, putting yourself out there, suddenly we won't. Where you've got to go and show up. And sometimes, to become an entrepreneur, you've got to do something stupid. You might have to go and stand on a corner with a big board and whatever. I'm just using that as an example. And as kids, sometimes we're prepared to do that. But as we grow up, we actually lose that sense of creativity, that sense of risk-taking, of putting yourself out there. It's maybe just to end, I'm going to say is, as children, back yourself. And sometimes we've got a great idea, but then we don't go and implement it, and then somebody else goes and then we go and say, oh, but I wish we did it. And like I say, it's just, go there. Be prepared to fail, because that's another thing with society. Society says, you can't fail. But I can guarantee you, you're more than likely, if you're going to become an entrepreneur, you are going to fail. It's part of the journey. But like I say, it's just about the lessons. Put yourself out there. Believe you can make it happen. Yeah, please, is that easy? You know what? As a coach, sometimes, like I say, I do the easy work. Because I can say, you know what, believe. But you're the one who actually has to go and do it. But work on it. There are many strategies. And there's a lot of support out there. And with the government, there's, well, one of the good things, let me say, with the government is that, that there's, if you're going to come up with a good idea or just, and you don't know what to do, there are things that there's a lot of support out there. There's a lot of support out there. But don't let you be the reason why you're not going to do something.